Alright, buckle up buttercups, because today we're diving headfirst into a story that sounds like something straight out of a daytime drama. But nope, it's real life. And let me tell you, it takes a twist you absolutely will not see coming. So, imagine this: you're just living your life. Maybe you're a parent. Maybe you're thinking about becoming one, and then out of nowhere, bam! DNA testing drops a bombshell right in your lap. Not just any bombshell, but the kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew. We're talking about the moment a DNA test reveals your child isn't biologically yours. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a gut punch, an absolute jaw dropper. You're probably thinking, whoa, hold on a second. How does that even happen? And trust me, that's exactly what our protagonist in this wild tale was thinking. Let's set the scene: a loving family, a seemingly happy marriage, everything picture perfect. Then, driven by curiosity, or maybe just wanting to trace some ancestry, a home DNA kit enters the picture. You know, the kind you see advertised everywhere, promising to tell you where your great-great-grandma's second cousin twice removed once lived. Harmless fun, right? Wrong. In this case, it was a Pandora's box of epic proportions. The results come back, and instead of a neat little family tree, there's a massive, gaping hole. The child, the one lovingly raised, cared for, and considered their own flesh and blood, doesn't share a biological link with the father. Can you even begin to wrap your head around that? The shock, the confusion, the immediate questions swirling in your mind. Is this a mistake? Did the lab mess up? Is this some kind of sick prank? All valid questions, all met with the cold, hard data of science saying, nope, this is the truth. And let's be real, for the person experiencing this, it's not just about the science. It's about the emotional earthquake that just rocked their entire world. The trust, the foundation of a family, suddenly feels like it's crumbling. It's a moment where you're frantically searching for answers, trying to piece together a puzzle that seems to have most of its critical pieces missing. The immediate fallout? Well, that's usually a roller coaster of emotions: anger, betrayal, heartbreak, and a profound sense of loss. Even if the child is still right there. Because the narrative, the story of your family, just got completely rewritten without your consent. But here's where this story really takes a turn, and trust me, it gets even more mind-blowing. Because while finding out your child isn't biologically yours is a colossal shock, for some, that's just the appetizer to the main course of crazy. You'd think that would be the worst part, right? The absolute pinnacle of familial drama. Oh, my friends, you'd be sorely mistaken. Because in some truly bizarre and unexpected cases, the revelation of non-paternity is only the beginning of a much larger, much stranger mystery. Sometimes, the DNA test doesn't just say, hey, this kid isn't yours. Sometimes, it screams, hey, this kid isn't yours, and by the way, they're also not who you thought they were related to at all. This can happen in a few, truly wild ways. One scenario is the infamous, cryptic paternity, which sounds like something out of a spy novel. Doesn't it? This is where the biological father isn't just some random person, but a close family member. Think about that for a second. It adds a whole new layer of, what the actual heck, to an already impossible situation. Imagine discovering that the biological father is, say, your brother-in-law. Or even more shockingly, a more distant relative who you interact with regularly. The implications are enormous. It's not just a breach of marital trust. It's a profound disruption of the entire family dynamic. Birthdays, holidays, family gatherings, every single interaction suddenly takes on a new, incredibly uncomfortable meaning. The emotional landscape becomes a minefield. Then there's another scenario, even rarer, but equally unsettling: hospital mix-ups. Yes, these actually happen. While incredibly uncommon in modern hospitals with stringent protocols, historical cases are even very rare. Current events can lead to a child being accidentally swapped at birth. You're living your life, raising a child you believe is yours, only to find out decades later through a DNA test that your biological child is out there somewhere, being raised by another family. And the child you've raised with love and devotion? They belong to someone else. It's a heart-wrenching, identity-shattering realization for everyone involved. The stories that emerge from these situations are often stranger than fiction, filled with unexpected reunions and profound ethical dilemmas. The very fabric of parenthood and identity is stretched and redefined. But today's story, the one we're really digging into, had a twist that even those wild scenarios couldn't prepare you for. Because the DNA test didn't just reveal that the child wasn't biologically the father's. It revealed something so fundamentally bizarre, so scientifically perplexing, that it changed not only the family's understanding of their lineage, but also potentially contributed to a deeper understanding of human biology itself. What could be worse than finding out your child isn't yours, or that a family member is secretly the father, or a hospital mix-up? Get ready for this. The revelation was not just about the father's paternity. It was about the child's fundamental genetic makeup being different, not just different from the dad, but exhibiting genetic characteristics that were so unusual, so unexpected, that it baffled even the experts. We're talking about genetic anomalies that defy simple explanation, pushing the boundaries of what we understand about inheritance. This could involve incredibly rare genetic conditions, or even more mind-boggling, a phenomenon known as chimerism or mosaicism, where an individual has two or more genetically distinct cell lines, originating from different zygotes or a single zygote respectively. Imagine getting a DNA test back that not only says, "This isn't your kid," but also, "And this kid's DNA is doing something truly extraordinary that we rarely ever see." That takes the initial shock and multiplies it by 1,000. It's no longer just a family drama, it becomes a medical and scientific marvel. This scenario often involves complex medical investigations, consultations with geneticists, and a deep dive into the most obscure corners of genetic science. For the family, the emotional burden is immense. Not only are they grappling with the paternity bombshell, but now they're also facing a genetic mystery, potentially with health implications for their child. It's a double whammy, a total curveball that nobody could have anticipated. So, while the initial shock of, "My child isn't mine," is monumental, the discovery of an utterly unique, scientifically significant genetic situation can elevate the crisis to an entirely new level. It's a testament to the incredible complexity of human biology, and the unexpected ways in which our genetic code can surprise us. These stories, as rare and astonishing as they are, serve as powerful reminders of the profound impact of DNA testing, and the sometimes uncomfortable truths it can unveil. It makes you think, doesn't it? What secrets might your own DNA hold? And how would you react if a simple test turned your world completely upside down? It's a lot to chew on, folks. A whole lot to chew on. And it really makes you appreciate the seemingly simple, straightforward family trees we all hope for. Because sometimes, reality is far, far stranger than anything we could ever invent. Stay curious, but also, maybe be prepared for the unexpected, because science, especially DNA science, really does have a flair for the dramatic.